Hey guys, how's it going? In this video, I want to show you two things. First off, how I make my big bows on top of my Christmas trees, and then how I twirl the ribbon like kind of around the tree. This is all because of last year we did a dollar store tree decorating challenge, and I used a lot of ribbon because it's just a really good filler for trees, and I think it's really pretty. And it seemed like a lot of you guys wanted to know how I did it. So first off, this is the tree. It's already lit. It is a pre-lit tree, but I added 5 extra strands of lights because I put so much stuff on my trees. I always have to add a little bit of extra light. So we're ready to go. This is going to be a Nutcracker themed tree. So I went with kind of classic looking ribbons. I'm going to be using a mixture of 4 different types of ribbons. We've got this really pretty green one. It's got some, I don't know, it's bedazzled in the center. And then classic poinsettias. And then this one, I wish I could have found more of this one. I only have 2 spools, but this one kind of works as well. And then for a different texture, this red glittery stuff. So for the ribbon, I think I'm going to be using these 3 right here. I don't have a tree topper for this tree yet, and so a big bow kind of helps fill the gap until I find something I like. And this is kind of interesting because growing up, my mom taught me a lot of these things. But she's left-handed and I'm right-handed, so it took me a while to actually get it. Like I had to kind of translate everything into a right-handed person's world. But what I'm going to do is start off with this big thick ribbon right here, and all of these have wire, and I recommend that type of ribbon especially for beginners. But I want to leave like maybe a 2-foot tail like that. Oh, I forgot step number 1, you guys. Before the ribbon, you need to get your paddle wire ready. I'm using 22 gauge paddle wire here. I'm just going to cut a piece that's like, I don't know, 12, 18 inches. That's like 18 inches long. And I'm just going to set it aside. I won't need it until the very end. So now back to my tail, about 2 feet there. And it will depend on what size of tree you have. For a smaller tree, you probably won't be using this thick of ribbon. You probably won't need as long of tails. But we're going to pinch it right here. And this is where we start making the bow. Oh, let me get it pinched right. Okay. So I've got it pinched there. Now I'm going to twist the ribbon so that it shows the inside. And I'm going to make my first loop like this. And then pinch it with my fingers. And we're just going to kind of work our way back and forth. So I'm going to twist the ribbon again like that. The thicker stuff is a little bit more squirrely to work with. Okay, and then we'll make our second loop. And the beauty of wired ribbon is in the end, you can really like mold it to whatever shape you want it to be. And I think I only want 3 loops of this type of ribbon because this is the one I'm going to use as the bulk, like my main weight on the tree. Okay, so now I'm going to cut it off, leaving another tail here. And I'll clean up all the ends here in a minute, in the end. Okay, a couple tails. 3 loops right there. You just want to make sure not to let go at any point. Second spool of ribbon is this stuff. I like to choose stuff that's obviously like it complements each other, but it's different texturally. It's really appealing to me that way. So we're going to make another tail here. It doesn't have to be the same length. We'll pinch it right in the center and we'll just make our loops. That. We don't have to twist this one because there isn't a front and a back side. I think 3 is good of that one as well. This stuff is so glittery. I'm going to have glitter everywhere in here. Okay, last ribbon. I like to toss all of them on the floor because then I can just pull on them. Okay. And same thing. Twist, create our loop, pinch in the center, twist again, create our loop, pinch in the center. I think I'm going to want maybe 4 of this one here. Okay, so there's 4 loops. This is going to be a big old bow. I might actually have to make 2. Since I don't have a tree topper, I'll probably do 1 bow on one side and then do a smaller bow maybe on the back side just to kind of fill in the gap. Okay. So now that we have our bow pretty much done, I'm going to take my wire, which is kind of hard to see, I think, but we're just going to feed it like through my hand here, beneath all the layers. See how it's back up through there? It goes underneath all the layers of ribbon. I'm going to pull it to the back like this and just twist it as hard as I can, like as tight as I can. Okay, so those are actually the tails that will help us attach it to the top of the tree. So essentially, if you undo the wire, all the ribbon will kind of go out in one piece, it'll unravel, and you can use it for something else if you want, or you can retry your bow if you don't like the way it looks. So at this point, you can just mess around with how all your loops work, and then I'm going to climb to the top. Oh, you know what? So see, like, I didn't really think through how I was going to show you guys this. I'm going to fix the ends here, just clean up the ends. I like to fold it in half like that and do that kind of end. I like that a lot. So I'm just going to do that on all my tails really quickly. That looks way better, especially on this type right here. Okay. I used to sweat when I made bows. Like, it was such a stressful thing for me. I used to sit there and sweat, and we had to make bows. Like, we did custom bows for anybody who came to the garland and wreath making classes down at the garden center, and I'd be back behind the table just like sweating. I was I was so nervous about how my bows were going to turn out and if people were going to like them. Now, I don't know, when you use wired ribbon, you can make them look however you want in the end. It's kind of a freeing thing. Okay. So I've got my bow, and then I am going to leave the very top like stem kind of exposed, because if I do find a topper, I want to be able to slide it down over the top, but I'm just going to attach it using these pieces of wire, just right around the base of that stem right there, just twisting that wire around, and see, it's not going anywhere. It's like totally solid on there. And you can see I do need another one on the back. So let me do that really quick and get the second bow on there, and then I'll kind of show you what I do with the tails. Okay, so I got the second bow put on and I just attached it the same exact way, and it kind of looks like a little bit of a mess, and it kind of does to me, like it doesn't look very proportioned until I get the ribbon on the rest of the tree. But with the tails, I like to roll them up like this and kind of squeeze them lightly just to kind of create that curl. And then I let them out really gently and just kind of swirl them around the greens. And again, this is something that I'll mess with in the end too after the ribbon is done on the rest of the tree. So see how pretty that is? It looks much better than it just like going straight down. So now I just have to do this to the rest of the ribbon tails. So I've got the tails kind of worked, and like I said, I will be kind of messing with those after I get the ribbon on the actual tree. So that's what we're going to start next, and I'm going to use a mixture of these two first. I like to do two different ribbons together, so I kind of prep them first, and to do that, I just want like, I don't know, a 10-foot piece of each of them, maybe a little less than that, we'll see. So I'm just gonna kind of match them up here and then cut them off, maybe about right here. Like that. And then I use a little piece of paddle wire again. You won't see this part, but this is what helps it attach it to the tree. So I'm just securing that on there really well, leaving a couple tails so that I can hook it onto the tree. And then from the other end, I'm going to roll it up, kind of like I did with the tails, kind of create that nice little curl. So I'm just going to roll it like this. Doesn't have to be exactly, you know, right on top of each other here, but pretty close. Okay, that pretty much lined up. See, I had a little extra red there. So I've got my roll right like that, and I just kind of give it a little squeeze to create that curl. And then I start in on the top, and I kind of tuck it underneath the tails here. So I'm going to attach this end that I have the paddle wire just somewhere up in here. And I think I suppose it maybe it's different if you're left-handed or right-handed, but I always take my ribbon this way around the tree. Like I start on the top and I always go around that way. I think you get comfortable doing it a certain way. See, I just kind of gently unroll, and I'll just set that there. I just gently unroll. I don't like to poke a lot of it into the tree. I like it to sit kind of on the outside. And then as I go, I kind of separate them like this. So you can see both ribbon types that I'm using. And this part, you guys, takes a while. Like, it's just creating little sections like I just showed you, wrapping it around the tree, then you create another section with a wire on the end and you kind of attach that right underneath where you ended this piece, and you just go all the way to the bottom. Sometimes I end up taking the ribbon off and kind of trying again if I don't like exactly how it lies. Also, you can take little pieces of paddle wire if you want, and along the way, if you really like where it's at, paddle wire it to a branch anywhere that makes sense to you so that you can get it to look the way you want it to look. So I'm going to mess with this piece right now, and then I'll show you where I start my second one. Okay, so this one started at the top and then it kind of disappears in the back, and I started another one back there that came around the front here, and this is where it ended. And I just wanted to show you kind of close up how you start your next one, and I also wanted to show you a second way you could do your ending. Instead of just kind of like bunching up your ribbon and having a cut off edge that doesn't look very good that you have to hide, you can put your wire a little bit down the ribbon and then create two little pretty tails like this. So here's the rest of my roll that I created. I'm just going to set it in here while I'm working on this. So typically you kind of want to like tuck it in underneath where your last ribbon stopped. So I'm going to just do that really quick and just attach it right here to a branch. And this is an artificial tree, obviously. We had to switch to artificial because we heat with wood and it dries out the real ones so quickly. I just didn't want the fire hazard. So anyway, it is kind of nice to have an artificial tree to do this because you can manipulate the branches however you want. So then you can kind of mess with these little tails and have them stick out, kind of like little pretty ornaments almost. And then this is the ending of the last one. We'll just kind of mess with that until we like the way it looks. A lot of this will change too when I put ornaments on. I may have to like scoot a little piece of ribbon out of the way possibly. We'll just have to see. But you can see wherever I do the swoops, I like the ribbon to be pretty smooth. I don't like it to be really crinkly or like smashed into the branches. If it goes inside, I want it to lay really nice and kind of flat and smooth. That's just personal preference. I know we all have different ways we like to put ribbon on. So then I'm just going to take off with this piece right here. It made a nice little swoop there. And tuck it around the back. And on the back side, you guys, I try not to waste ribbon so I don't do a whole bunch of swoops back there. If you can't see it, then nobody will know. So I kind of just pull it straight, and then once I get it back out over here, I'll start the swoop again. So let me finish the whole tree with this type of ribbon, and then we're gonna go in with our third ribbon. Okay, so I've got this part of the ribbon done. I think it looks really pretty, and you could just stop right there if you've got a lot of ornaments, but this is the first year I've ever done this Nutcracker themed tree, and I don't have a whole lot of ornaments. So I think I'm gonna go in with one more layer of ribbon, and this is that fourth type. So in the bow, I use something with more of a tan background. I would have used this had I been able to find more of it, but this will bring a little bit of brightness to the tree. So I'm gonna go ahead and just twist a layer of this in between each layer of the thicker ribbon, and I'm just gonna do it exactly the same way. So I'm gonna start at the top and start twisting it around. On the tree, and I really like how it turned out. It's just a matter of playing with it until you like the way it looks. I mean, we're all different in our styles and how we like the end product to look, but using wired ribbon really helps me out because you can kind of form it how you want to form it. And I honestly think like it will be pretty once I get ornaments on it, but using different types of ribbon, like with different textures, different colors, I think brings a lot of depth and a lot of weight to the tree even without any type of ornaments. Now, I did find a bunch of dollar store ornaments from last year that I didn't utilize on my tree, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wire this together and use it as my topper for this year, and then just decorate it with what I've got on hand. So anyway, I hope that this video is helpful to you guys seeing how I do my bows and ribbons. I hope you were able to glean a little bit of inspiration from it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.